Hey guys, we are back for Insecure Season 4, Episode 2, Lowkey Distant. So the episode starts off with Molly and Andrew. It looks like they're coming from a nice little fancy um, date night, dinner and stuff. And then Andrew gets a phone call and then she's like, it's cool, take it. And then he walks out to the side and, talks. And it sounded work related or whatnot. And then she's like, sounded like it wasn't going well, but it sounded work related. So, I'm assuming that, the little static they had last episode, they squashed and it's cool after, she sent them that text talking about some sorry about her tripping or whatnot. She just didn't know he was dating other people. So it seems like they're fine now. But it still seems like something is kind of to Molly because when he comes back, she's like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? And he like, nah, it's not okay right now, but it will be or whatever. And then she's like, are you sure? She's kind of like pushing, like, girl, he's staying home, talk about it, leave that man alone. So, and it just happened. He probably just trying to process whatever just happened with work or whatever. So, then he was like, he wanted to talk about that cake. And I was like, ooh, that cake? I was like, okay. And then it jumps over to him beating it up from the back. Molly, and she's like, oh yeah, take the cake and all that. I'm like, okay, whatever. So they fucking. I didn't know if they was fucking before, but they're definitely fucking now at this point. And then it jumps because y'all know that this is all still before like that conversation in the first episode where Issa saying she don't fuck with Molly no more. And she was on the phone with somebody, I don't know. And now we're 3 months before the big block party, and we see Issa and Condola. They're looking at a space. That area or whatever where they want to throw the block party, and Issa's trying to telling Condola like, oh, this can go here, this can go here, this can go there. And she's like, ooh, my interns can check in right here. She's like, ooh, girl, thank you. And you can see that Issa is just so elated. She's got a whole nother feel to her, like a breath of fresh air compared to like previous seasons where she was just lost, or she was doing working for you got y'all or we got y'all or something. Like this is something she's so passionate about, and Condola has just helped her so much, and she's like so grateful, and they still cool, even despite the whole Lawrence little hiccup. And then they're talking, and she's like, oh yeah, we should go out. She's like, oh, Issa's like, we should go out for drinks this weekend. Let me take you out for drinks. She's like, oh no, I can't, I'm busy. And then she's like, I'm going to so-and-so, I'm going out of town. She's like, ooh, for, business and pleasure type thing. She's like, oh, and then she said where she was going. She's like, oh, that's romantic. And she's like, oh. And then it's like the whole Lawrence thing. And then they kind of, very adultly, maturely handled the whole Lawrence situation. Like, girl, I don't want to be awkward every time Lawrence or your personal life comes up and everything. So it's cool. I just don't want to be like weird. And then they just started joking about Lawrence talking about he eat mayonnaise on his fries and whatnot. And, they just kind of squashed it and moved on, which was nice. So from there, we see it's Halloween night. And they're at Tiffany's house. Tiffany's dressed up as Cleopatra. Molly's dressed up as Gabrielle Union and Bring It On with the Clover outfit. Kelly is dressed up like Babs, Halle Berry's character in Babs, and Issa was dressed up as what's something with an eye. It's like I think some type of cartoon. It was very underwhelming. And who else is that? It? No, I guess that's it. So what else? And Issa and Molly, it seems like they haven't really been kicking it or talking as much as they usually do, because Molly just started talking about how, Asian Bay and everything, how, they got in, and then she's like, oh, y'all fucked or whatever. She's like, oh, yeah. And then Kelly happens to mention how she had already heard the story about her and Asian Bay getting it in. So that just kind of shows that how they haven't been like super close, or Issa's been so busy and even Molly's been so busy, but she had time to talk to Kelly about the story. So of course I don't think that she would have told Kelly the story first, but it just seems like Issa's been so busy with Condola and all that stuff and her project that they just haven't had time to meet up, link up and talk about stuff. So she talks about Asian Bay, how to dick good, and she's he dicking her down, and she was just like, it just seems like he's really distant still, and like he's not really opening up to her, and it's just like her talking, and he's just kind of like just listening, and they just have like the little witty banter between them both, but nothing like deep, no conversation, like real conversation is going on. She was like, I don't want it to be about sex, especially because she, is really feeling dude and she wants it to be more than that. So it is what it is. So, they just have a little girl talk about what she should do about that. And then she was like, she decided after talking to them that she gonna put the pussy on pause and not fuck him right no more until like he just starts talking and opening up to her, because she wants more than just a fuck and everything in their relationship. So from there we see from there, y'all, we see, okay, seeing TSA Bay ass the one good time was enough for me. But yet again, here we see TSA Bay and Issa getting it all the way in, and his booty flapping and rocking, and they doing it and all that. I'm like, ooh, Lord, all that ass. I don't need to see that. And, he was hitting it right, though. And then once they were done, he was like, oh, shit, where the condom at? I can't find it. Looking around for the condom. So then she rushed off to the bathroom and sitting there trying to fish the damn condom from out of her. And then you know how her reflection always talks back to her, like her conscience. And she was like, girl, we need to do better. And then she was like, I'm not mad, upset. I'm just disappointed, that she's in herself. So then it goes splat, the condom come down and falls on the damn mirror she was trying to stick up in there to see. I was like, ooh, that's nasty, girl. That's nasty. And you definitely don't want to get pregnant by no damn TSA Bay. So from there, we see Lawrence and Condola. They, we see Molly at work or whatnot. And then she calls Andrew, and she invites him over. She calls him while she's at work real quick on a real quick call. And excuse me, he's like, oh, we should go to the Summer Walker concert. She gonna be in town, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She was like, no, how about we just, kick it and, can you come to my house? She gonna cook or whatnot. He was like, all right, cool. And then, she walks by, and then Torian, her coworker, and y'all know that she is in outs with Torian because last season she they're both workaholics, and her and Torian were working cool together, but then Molly took it upon herself to kind of step on his toes and finish up one of their projects without him, and she kind of got all the credit and all that, so he kind of don't fuck with her no more. And she was walking past him, he's talking about he gonna be out of town, and she asked him something, he said he gonna be out of town, he going to Cabo. She tried like, oh, you should go to this place. He's like, nah, where I'm going is all inclusive. He just kept it pushing. He really don't want shit to do with Molly. So it is what it is. So from there, we see Lawrence and Condola. They're out to lunch, and then they talking or whatnot, and then he ends up ordering some mayonnaise because he had fries. And then Condola has a little smirk, because little inside thing about her and Issa, they joked about him eating mayonnaise on his fries, and he's like, what's funny? And then she tells him like, oh, it's just me and Issa was talking, about you and your fries and stuff. And he's like, oh, that's all y'all be talking about, right? And then she like, yeah. She's like, oh, it wasn't nothing like that, like nothing bad. But people feel a certain type of way if you've been talking about them or whatnot, especially your ex been talking about you with your new, so that can be awkward. And she's like, I'm sorry, is it uncomfortable? He's like, no, it's cool, whatever. And then she was like, yeah, because I didn't know that you ran track or whatnot. And he was like, yeah, in college for like a year. I'm like, that's weird. How did him running track for 1 year in college come up? That's a little strange, because they like, what, in their 30s? Like, what is that? How did that pop up and everything? But he was like, nah, it's cool, whatever. But you can tell it was not cool, because as soon as that, it clips off to Lawrence and his crew, him and Tiffany's husband and his other friend who was his roommate. I cannot remember their name. Sorry, y'all. And they talking, his one crazy friend was like, nah, G, you gotta shut that shit down. They're gonna put a podcast out about your dick and shit. And then Tiffany's husband was like, nah, just let it go, because, it's not worth it and it's not that deep. And then he was like, would you let it go? He's like, hell no. But he was like, shit, that's why every time I break up with somebody, I move and shit. And he made a joke like, man, I miss Dallas and shit, because he just don't like to deal with like that messiness and whatnot. So Lawrence is kind of stuck because he don't want to seem petty to Issa by saying something to Issa. He also doesn't want to seem overly sensitive if he say something to Condola. So he's just kind of trying to figure out what he should do because he doesn't want them talking about him not behind his back, but kind of behind his back. But they wasn't even talking about nothing. It wasn't even that deep, honestly. So from there, Condola and Issa are, kikiing, and they are doing some finishing up stuff, having a little meeting about, they're in a restaurant, having a little meeting about the block party or whatnot, and Molly comes up because Molly and Issa were planning on having lunch, I guess, or early dinner or something. And Condola's like, oh, I'm, just about to leave. I'm starving. I'm thinking like, ain't you at a restaurant? You can't get something to go or something. And then Issa's like, oh, no, just stay and kick it here. Well, ain't no point you going somewhere else when they got bomb food and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, y'all wouldn't eat nothing while y'all was working. I don't just go somewhere. Maybe they just had some drinks or something. I don't know. But I would have had an appetizer or something. We sitting there working and it's a restaurant. Y'all just sitting there loitering and stuff. No, I'm just playing. But, and then you could tell Molly was a little she was a little as soon as she walked up and saw Condola. And I'm like, damn, Molly, did she fuck your man? Why you looking at her so sideways? So, Condola's like, okay, cool. I'm going to go to the bathroom. So, Molly was like, dang, I thought we was going to be able to talk because, we haven't talked in a while. And I don't really know Condola like that. I do understand her in that type of way. And I have had friends who do that, who bring their friend. And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable discussing my personal life with my best friend in front of her friend who I am not cool with and don't know like that. And plus, she fucking your ex and stuff. But I mean, that shouldn't be a big deal. I more so get it from the point of view of like, okay, you're my friend and I want to talk about some intimate things and I don't know her like that. So I would rather her not be there, but I guess, type of thing. Because I've had friends like that and it was like a chick there and I'm like, can't really say stuff that I want to say because I don't know who this bitch is. She can tell my business down the street. So, I mean, not that I get that vibe from Condola at all, but you don't know. You just never know. So Issa was like, what you want me to do, tell her to leave? She was like, nah, it's cool, whatever. So you can see Molly is a little off-put by that. And then they just go on to whatever, have lunch or whatever, or dinner, whatever the fuck they was having. So, but you could still see that friendship that's coming, new budding friendship between Condola and Issa. And they seem like they really are truly like really cool and enjoy each other's company. And I feel like Molly feels a little bit displaced when she's around both of them because Issa's her best friend. So I could see that happening. Now I've been in that situation before, so I understand it too. So then we see Lawrence pulling up in front of Issa's house, and I'm like, what are you doing pulling up to her house? But he did tell her that he was coming because he texted her and he was like, yo, I'm outside. And then she was like, all right, I'll be there in a minute. So he leaning up against his car and stuff. I mean, I know he ain't trying to be with Issa, but he's still trying to like get out like, oh yeah, what's up? Like, look, when she walk up to him, she's like, hey, what's up? What's going on? So he was like, yeah, we haven't talked since, me and Condola have started talking or whatever and everything. And he kind of just pretty much says, would it be cool for you to just not talk about me when you with her? And then she's like, oh, we weren't talking about you in a bad way. The same thing that Condola pretty much said. It wasn't a bad thing. You just came up a little bit and we just kind of joked it out. So it wasn't awkward, which is exactly what happened. And then he's like, all right. She's like, oh, so you don't want me to tell her that your real name is Lawrence, your real name is Martin and your middle name is Lawrence or whatever. And that was really funny. So anyway, that was just like, it was funny. She's like, Martin. So I didn't know that unless they mentioned it like early seasons, but that's funny that his name is Martin Lawrence and whatever his last name is. But yeah, so she was just like, okay, whatever. And she just agreed to, keep his name out her mouth when she's talking to Condola. Like, it's fine, whatever. We won't talk about you like that anyway. You ain't that hot, Lawrence. Calm down. So from there, we see Molly's in the crib. She got her Tony Chachere's seasonings, her Worcestershire sauce. So you're like, okay, what she making? She making some type of Creole dish, Creole Cajun dish and whatnot. So she making some gumbo. Andrew come up in and whatnot. He was like, hey, he automatically just come and kissing all up on her and on some little sexual stuff, which is cool, but like, don't immediately try to get all up in my drawers as soon as you come get in my house. I don't feel like that's okay. And I'm cooking. And then he he was, tries to make a little thing, and she's like, oh no, he's like, oh, this ain't gumbo and chill, and then she's like, oh, it's just kind of gumbo and chill, she's just kind of making it known. He's like, all right, you the boss, and she's like, ooh, try my gumbo. And then first of all, she said she burnt her roux a couple times. I'm like, girl, you gotta sit there and stir it and until it's chocolatey and brown. If you ain't gonna sit there and you ain't got the time, then don't do it, girl. No, baby. So she asked him to try her gumbo, and he was like, ooh, it's salty. She's like, I know something salty. I'm black, blah, blah, blah. And that shit was salty. So after she tasted it. So they're sitting there talking while they eating the gumbo and drinking some wine. And she's showing him her baby pictures and stuff. Honestly, y'all, I never really do that when I'm dating somebody. Just start showing them my kid pictures and just constantly push like on that level. Like, honestly, I don't even think my husband even saw my baby pictures till like way later. Like, who does that? Oh, let me show you my baby pictures, or like my pictures when I was growing up as a kid. I might see some stuff like if it's on Facebook or something, but it's different if I'm like a busting out pictures and just like, it was on her phone, but like she pull out an album or something. But it was just a little weird. And then he was talking about he said where he used to live, and I guess it was right by Disney World or whatever, Disneyland. And she's like, oh, y'all must have went a lot. He was like, oh, me and my brother always wanted to go, but my sister, she didn't like crowds like that. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she was like, oh, where's your sister now? He's like, oh, I don't know. She's like, you don't know where your sister is? He was like, nah, I don't really want to talk about it. So you can see that something's going on as far as his sister and his family. They got it sounds like they got like some problems. So maybe everybody's family is different. Some people just have families that they don't even speak, and it's not even like their family. And it's kind of probably hard for those type of people to open up, because I mean, it just is what it is. Like, I have people in my family who I ain't spoke to, who I'm very closely related to and haven't seen. And I mean, I don't have problems talking about it, but sometimes it might be like a painful memory attached to that, and that's why they don't want to get into it. And especially if you're just trying to have a nice dinner out with your boo, and you could tell that gumbo wasn't good because they was just sitting there moving it around on the plate like it wasn't good. So, not my gumbo, because my gumbo fire. But, so she pushing, and then he's like, what? Because he was like, no, because he goes and says, like, oh, we can still catch that, the show if you want to go. She's like, well, you can go ahead and go if that's where you want to be instead of here. He's like, whoa, where'd that come from? She's like, so she goes on and tells him how she feels. Like, I feel like I be trying to talk to you and stuff, and you don't never open up to me, whether it's about work or your family or otherwise, and we just be kikiing or whatnot, and we don't never have no real conversation. And she goes on to say how she wants a man with depth, and then he gets defensive about it, and then she's like, man, and then he like, man, you just ain't never happy or whatever. It's always something with you. So he kind of gets up and leaves and goes and catch that show. And I'm like, damn, that was rude. And that food wasn't good because he left that whole plate there and he ain't eat none. So from there, she feeling salty. And what else? What else? Hold on, y'all. Okay, so Issa is trying to get Schoolboy Q to perform as her headliner for the Block Party. I forgot to mention that. So she's at his concert, meeting up with Condola at his concert to try to talk to his people and get that all squared away. So she's in front of the concert waiting on Condola. Condola texts her like, all right, I'll be there in like 10 minutes. So Issa goes and she calls Lawrence. Now, do y'all see the final LaToya in the background? They were like, are they even looking for LaToya and all that? And they talking about, so we are looking for her. We put pictures up. Y'all, why they had no real picture? They had like some like little fourth grader drew that shit, a little black girl and a cop. I like, y'all, it's true. And then Lawrence is like, man, they'll never be trying to find us. They don't. It's that. So his phone ringed. I'm like, Issa, what you calling Lawrence for? But she called him because she was like, hey, did you tell Condola that we met up the other day? Because I don't want to bring it up and make it seem kind of awkward, which I can't understand. So, I understand why she called him. And he was like, oh, no, it's not that deep. You ain't even got to tell her. And she's like, all right, cool. How you doing? He's like, no, we can just hang up now. All right, bye. So from there, she, what else? She ends up going to the, not Molly, Issa ends up in the concert, jamming out Schoolboy Q. Molly calls her because she's sitting here and drank a whole bottle of wine, and she's sad about Andrew again because she just got him back, and then now something else. It's like, dang, I understand that too, because I'm like, damn, Molly, y'all just brushed shit over. Now you pushing again. You could have waited till y'all was cool for it, went on a couple more dates. Maybe he would have told you a little bit something on his own. But because I understand some dudes, especially dudes, are really closed off and shit. And honestly, my husband was like that. He didn't really tell me a lot of shit. And there did come a point where I was like, hey, man, like, if you want to be with me. You're going to have to start opening up, because I feel like I tell you stuff and, and I care about you and stuff, and you don't talk to me like that. And I addressed him, and he was still he didn't get mad and leave or nothing. Because if he would have, that would have been the last time he saw me. What? No, but this one we was dating and stuff. But he came around, and now he just don't shut up. So, I mean, sometimes it's just how you say stuff. It's the delivery of stuff. She didn't have to be coming at him all hard, especially after they just got back talking. It was just like, take a breather first, Molly. You just always keep it going. So she's just sitting at home mad about that. Then it goes to Molly at work, and she's just still probably sitting there she's sitting there in a meeting, but she was kind of off. And then Torian was talking about whatever case he was doing, and she made a face, and then so her boss was like, Molly, you got something you want to add? So she's like, no, I thought I saw a window washer. That's a dangerous job. And clearly she had something she wanted to say. So Torian came to her office after that, and he was like, Molly, what's up? You got something to say it to my face, which I respect that he came straight to her on some real shit and didn't just like, get petty or whatever. So she was like, Torian, I understand that you're upset with me how I handled the case, this, and I know that it's going to take some time, but I would like for us to get along. And then he also added, because the case that he was doing was from a case that she handled back at her old job, so she could have used whatever like little hookup she got to get some files or whatever easier for him instead of the way he was approaching it. But since they not cool, it was kind of like, that's why she didn't say nothing about it. And he was like, oh, so he's going to have me waste my time when you could have helped. And she had just said that she knew she wasn't being a team player. Like, well, you could have just added in right there that you could have got that stuff from him if you wanted to be a team player. But he was rude, so I might have not said shit anyway because she tried to be nice to him that one time. So I can understand both sides a little bit, but whatever. So from there, it still seemed like they ain't cool, but whatever. So from there, what else? Oh, Molly and her are going on their self-care Sunday hike, and they walking around, and Issa was telling her how she just got, Schoolboy Q and everything that's going on for the block party, and she's like, oh, you can invite Andrew. She's like, you should take me out for dinner, and Andrew can come and whatnot. And she's like, girl, I don't know about that, because, they got her and Andrew got into it again. And then she was like, oh, damn. She's like, she pretty much broke down what had happened and everything. And Issa kind of just paused, and she was like, dang, she's like, I be wondering, do you ever really want to be happy? And I was like, dang. But I mean, like, I don't feel sorry for Molly in this instance because of how she came at Issa about the whole Condola and Lawrence thing. I'm like, well, bitch, you was kind of rude about that. So I can get it. And plus, this isn't the first time with Molly. Molly always be doing the most. She do too much and everything. So I get where Issa was coming from with that. So Molly you could tell she was a little upset about that. And then all of a sudden she gets a phone call, and it happens to be Andrew. And she's like, oh, I gotta take this. But she doesn't tell Issa it's Andrew, and Issa walks off. And then she's like, hey, and then Andrew does apologize, and he was like, look, I'm sorry, you kind of called me out on it the other night, but it's just hard for me to open up and stuff, but I get it. And then he kind of says that he hears her, and he is apologizing for like how he just walked out on dinner and her bad gumbo. And then she's like, it's cool. So it seems like he's willing to open up to her and whatnot, and they cool. Then she goes back to walk to to Issa, so she kind of feels validated on how she pushed at Andrew. Now, I'm not saying that she was wrong for talking to Andrew the way she did. I said that timing is everything, and I feel like they had just got back on good terms, and she already got another problem. That's what I was saying, and I'm sure other people will agree. So from there, Issa was like, oh, hey girl, who was that? And she's like, oh no, I was just work. So now you can see that Molly's not even telling Issa stuff right as it's happening because of how Issa just called her out on saying like, oh, you fucking up with Andrew and stuff because you just don't want to be happy and you just, that's just how you are. And that is how Molly is. So I don't feel sorry for Molly. So yeah, y'all, but you can tell that low-key distance. The episode's title went with Molly and Andrew because she was feeling distant in the relationship that she was trying to move forward, and her best friend, her and Issa, her friendship is turning to something different, and they're possibly growing apart. So, and that was the end of the episode. Oh, she goes on. Issa goes on to say that she ended things with TSA baby because she wasn't trying to be his third baby mama. I was like, oh hell no, girl, you got 2 kids already, and she was tired of taking that plan B. I was like, oh girl, So that was the end of the episode, y'all. So yeah, I feel like we're gonna definitely see a shift in the friendship yet again with Issa and Molly, and I don't know, maybe they won't get back. Who knows? I mean, friendships sometimes they just reach a point where they're just done, and that's it. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that they're gonna work it out once we get past the block party, or does Molly do something just ridiculous before the block party or whatnot? Or I don't know, like, what y'all think? Comment down below. Anyway, y'all have a good one. I will see you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to your girl. Love you. Peace. Have a good one. Bye.